and welcome to Great Expectations. Today is How-To Day with a difference. We've still got plenty of great parenting ideas in less than an hour, but it's all related to you and your partner. The transition from couple to parents is momentous and can be extremely stressful, so we've asked psychologist and couples counselor Blem to help expectant mum and dad Kim and Quintus Jansen with this transition. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
But before we get chatting, I'd like to tell you something really exciting. We're following Kim and Quintus on their thrilling journey into parenthood. Take a look at their very first Preggy Diaries entry.
I am a healthy and fabulous 20 weeks pregnant. Wasn't so fabulous a couple of weeks back. Come and meet the man responsible for it all. This is Quintus. Look at that, he's growing in November. We were about 9 or 10 weeks when we found out, which I was told is pretty late. So when my doctor found out and we went to her, she was a bit annoyed. She's like, can't believe it. Come and sit down, guys. She was like, I can't believe it. You missed the entire whole folic acid taking period. And I was like, folic acid? Okay. I didn't know you have to take folic acid before you're pregnant, if you're planning to fall pregnant. But thank goodness everything is fine. I went for these abnormality tests. I went for the Down syndrome tests, and I'd never thought about anything like that before, especially because I'm only 28 years old. And my mom was like, why are you going for all these tests? They never made me go for all these tests. I asked the mom, when you gave birth to me, that was like 24 years ago, totally different. So I was thrilled. Oh, 28 years ago. Thanks. Whatever, thanks for the reminder. 24, 28 is not much difference, actually. This is my princess, guys. This is her right here. This was when she was 11 weeks old, or like 10 and a half weeks. That's her little head over there. I don't think I have mood swings.
Guys, leave the room. Just leave the room. Just like put your head down, read a book, sit on your laptop. Just say, okay, that's all you do. It's fine. Love you, it's fine, it's gonna be okay. Those are the key words.
Whatever. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, but I have had mood swings. I've been trying to keep it under control. See what this looks like. Kind of. Wait. One of the big things is that I haven't been able to find clothes that can fit me properly. Everybody tells me, you haven't gained much weight, look where it comes. Yeah, this is the jacket that used to zip up that doesn't even close anymore. That was my wedding ring. And as of about 2 weeks ago, that's where it goes now. It doesn't go any further than that. So I'll wear you soon, I promise. She's going to be just like a mom. She's going to enjoy shopping. She's going to enjoy great things in life. She's going to enjoy reading. She's going to enjoy learning. And we hope that
She's going to be like a dad, really intelligent, and a great dancer.
I can't believe you just said that. I am really intelligent as well. I can't believe you just said that. Next time we'll show you guys how to salsa. All the moms out there, you can still dance, which is a great thing when you're pregnant.
And she already has a theme song.
What?
I don't think you're ready for this.
Whatever, go away, Beyonce.
Hilarious. These Preggy Diaries are going to be so much fun. And because we'll be following the two of you over the next 6 months, and we know that it's such a huge ask, we've got some lovely gifts from you, from our sponsors, Stocker, Tiny Love, and Phillips Avon, to say thank
wonderful.
you to you.
Thank you so much.
Quintus, thank you so much.
That's wonderful.
Brian, what are some of the common challenges that you see dads experiencing in this transition into parenthood?
Well, I think it is about a man asking himself, what sort of father am I going to be? Am I going to be a good dad? And it's really, what should my role be? And questioning, should I step in or should I step out? Where do I belong in this experience?
Yeah.
Based on traditional roles, maybe how a man experienced his own dad, versus what we're currently hearing about a father's role.
Does this ring true for you, Quintus? Are these, what are you experiencing right now?
Well, what I think, what my challenge or expectations are, is I want to provide, obviously, a great living and a great life for my kid.
Yeah.
And then the other side, provide the emotional support being a father. and not just being a provider. So I think those are the concerns that I have. Yeah.
What about women as women like Kim and millions of other women who are sitting at home watching, who are transitioning into motherhood? What comes up for us?
Well, just looking at the diaries, I think it's clear that Kim is so excited about becoming a mom, and I
Yeah.
think that for women, becoming a mother is a huge role in their lives and a wonderful moment. And it's a question of, you know, again, I guess, will I be a good mom? And you so prepare yourself, but then life does go on, and you've got to deal with all that's happening to you. And then obviously the pressures of life don't always change. In fact, they only get harder.
We're talking a lot about preparation, but things don't always go the way that you plan for them to go,
Sure,
right? So how do you prepare but still keep an open mind that, you know, life changes?
Yes. Well, I think for couples who are pregnant, and I say couples because I think it is a joint process and a journey, so it is preparing as best you can through antenatal classes and things like that, and sharing the journey of the scans and everything, so that you are kind of along the way getting the information you need from family and friends too, so that you are as well prepared. But of course, there are going to be challenges and curveballs.
What are you anxious about or worried about or concerned about as you transition into mommyhood?
I think there's so much that's going through my mind every
Yeah.
single day. But I think the biggest concern for me really is our lifestyle. We don't have your typical 9-to-5 job. We're both business owners.
Yeah.
And being in the publishing industry, being in entertainment, my biggest thing is we've got such limited time with one another already. I mean, we're so excited for her, but already my whole mind's consumed with her. So that's the biggest thing, is like, how do I balance everything? How are you the best mom and the best businesswoman and the best wife at the same time?
But you guys have such a wonderful relationship. I mean, you joke with each other. You can see that there's a real chemistry and intimacy with the two of you. Are you worried about how a new life is going to affect the vibe that you already have going with each other?
I think that we took the first few years of our marriage to kind of consolidate our relationship first.
Yeah.
And then once we were fulfilled in that, then we decided we're going to have a kid together.
Yeah.
So I think emotionally and mentally we've prepared for this. And because I manage my time quite nicely, I think we'll put things into the right compartments, and we'll make time for each other, for our relationship. We'll make time for our kid and future kids. So I think it will be okay.
Consolidation, preparation, and time management. Is this the best way to kind of mentally and emotionally prepare for this transition?
I think so. I think what Quintus has shared indicates that the time before you have a baby is the time where you as a couple need to work and discover your strength as a team, that you can trust each other, and that is great preparation for taking this big step to introduce a new life into the world. And so I think that, you know, you're feeling very confident because you have got to know each other, and that's great.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it is very important that you prioritize time for each other and make plans, because yes, with your busy lives, you could find with the baby in, things just get squeezed very tight.
I just want to throw a spanner into the works. I'm sure everybody is telling you that, like, everything is going to change. Like, guys, everything is going to change. Eh?
Yes.
Like
Everybody's saying that.
The ground is going to get ripped from under your feet, and the sky will not be blue anymore, and the sun is going to rise in the west. You're starting at ground zero. Like, you can't manage that, Quintus.
Yeah.
You can't put that on a list and tick boxes.
I
eh?
agree. No,
Yeah?
I have to say this. I agree. Quintus is renowned amongst our friends and family for being so rigid. No, not rigid. He's very organized.
Okay.
And everything is down to a schedule, and everything's got to work like this. And I was like, then he married me, and he realized it's not going to happen that way. And with baby, I believe that they have their own time and their own schedule. And yes, they've got to fit into our lives. We've got amazing friends and our mentors, our pastors, who give us loads of advice.
That's
But
fantastic.
we have to be flexible.
Are you ready for that, Quintus? Are you ready to give up on your schedules?
I'll manage. Literally, I'll manage.
Right. Well, please reflect on this push and pull between, kind of needing to be flexible. But it's an important skill to have, and it's important to have somebody in the relationship who is
Definitely.
systematic.
Definitely.
But babies don't work on systems all the time. Eh?
Yes, that's right. And I think the male-female mix is what it's all about. And you're there to partner each other. And yes, there will be times when the sort of planning and all of that is very useful, but there are also going to be times when you've got to roll with things and really just bend and support. So it's the team effort, as
Yeah.
I've said before, and to try and enjoy it as much as possible is really going to be about the two of you and your communication skills with each other when the times are tough, and negotiating who does what and when, and being flexible.
For other couples who may have any areas of conflict before baby arrives, because it's such a sensitive time, things come up.
Yes.
What's your advice?
Well, yes. I mean, it is the fact that I say to my couples, issues are the grist to the mill of marriage, and they're what we grow from. We grow closer or we grow apart if we don't get on top of our issues. So it's a question of, are we getting on top of our issues and growing up and closer, or are the issues getting on top of us and squeezing us apart? And certainly if there are issues, then I would really recommend that couples get help, because they're only going to increase when you've got a baby. So definitely, I think that would be important.
Before we get to baby, you've got to go through birth. That's the big thing that's coming up. Are you any anxieties, worries, concerns about that?
I'm so lucky. I've got quite a few girlfriends who've gone ahead of me, and have done this. I do want to go natural, but I don't like pain at all. So for me, it's just like I'm praying and holding thumbs that it's going to be quick.
Yeah.
And as painless as possible.
Your thoughts, Daddy to be?
They told me natural birth in water and so forth, and they said I could get in the water, and I was, no. It's not going to happen.
Not your style.
I'd stand on the side, I'd hold her hand. I love to be there, obviously, to experience it with Kim. But as far as getting in the water, no, that's a bit too far, hey?
Brian, we've got just a few seconds, but what's your top tip for couples who are preparing for birth?
Well, I think it is that preparation, and then husband really supporting your wife and really just going with her and being there every step of the way and remaining there for the future.
And antenatal,
Yes,
because they do a great job
good.
at prepping dads as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Keeping the flame alive when you've got nappies to change and a baby on your breast is, quite frankly, pretty tough. But all the experts say it must be done if you want to ensure that your little one grows up with both parents still in the home. And we've got more on that up next. But right now it's time for your Pampers Monday Minute, and we get fantastic advice on feeding baby while on the go.
The thought of long-distance road travel with a baby or toddler can be very intimidating for some parents, especially when it comes to feeding on the go. So sit back and relax and listen to my tips on how to make your journey and baby's less stressful. Make sure that you have enough food and milk packed in a proper cooler for the trip. It is always best to prepare and freeze your baby's food a few days before your trip, but don't forget to defrost it. Don't disrupt your toddler's schedule. The good thing about traveling by car is you have the freedom to stop, feed on demand or according to routine. It's always a good idea to pack enough snacks. Your toddler's tummy is too small to hold enough food to meet their requirements without eating regularly. And if he's a restless eater on the road, snacks like fresh fruit sticks, biltong, popcorn and crackers are necessary to fill in the nutritional gap. Traveling and nutrition doesn't have to be a nightmare. All you need is a little forward planning and a calm attitude to enjoy your journey on the road.
More baby care tips on your next Pampers Monday Minute.
I know I'm going to use some of that advice these holidays. And after the break, we'll help you to keep the spark going once baby's arrived. Welcome back. You're with us on Great Expectations. And today is our how-to show for moms and dads. And we're helping expectant mom and dad, Kim and Quintus Jansen, along their journey into parenthood. It's such an incredible time for a couple. And after baby arrives, many moms and dads lose sight of how they made the baby in the first place because stuff gets hectic. Psychologist and couples counselor Blem chats to many new parents about reigniting their relationship. So let's get some tips from him now. What issues do you see new couples facing after baby has arrived?
Well, I think that having a baby can either and should bring you closer, but I think that it can tend to send you on different journeys because a man then steps into his providing role.
Yeah.
And a
which
woman...
Quintus
Yes,
mentioned earlier.
exactly. And the woman is really the mothering role.
Yeah.
And they can get quite entrenched in those and feel separated, and the connection is kind of lost with the baby in the middle.
So how do they keep that connection going, especially during the very early days and months when everything is so fresh and so raw and so new?
Yes. Well, I think that's why, again, I've made this point many times, it's a team effort, and I think that a father getting involved in those duties or special tasks with the baby, like bathing the baby on occasion and doing some feeds and even winding the baby and really helping mom in that way and giving mom a break so that, you know, mom can have a bit of a relax as well.
Yeah.
That's very important.
I heard you mumbling about the bath, something about what were you saying?
You know, I was saying this to my mom as well because that's, to be honest with you, it's one of the concerns that you do have, especially as a young couple. And I was saying, I'm not my mom.
Sure.
I didn't have this office job and 10 sisters around me, which she really had. She had like 6, 7 sisters.
Extended family networks are not the same as they were for a lot of people anymore. Yeah.
Precisely, and I'm going to need the help. I mean, already he's been very helpful, but all dads to be, I think, have this, nappies. I mean, I feel like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to need the help.
Are you ready to be a kind of more hands-on dad in terms of the physical responsibilities of taking care of the baby?
I am.
Yeah?
I think I have the same apprehension that Kim has towards the nappies.
Yeah.
And of course, sleep. I love my sleep.
Forget about that. You guys are going to sleep for like 2 years. Like, just to park that thought for a while.
I think out of concern for Kim and her well-being, I will definitely take some of the load off.
Yeah.
Because she needs the rest as well.
Are you going to let him take the load off? Because a lot of moms get very possessive, you know, when there's a new baby.
I'm not sure because he already says I'm so possessive of her. And she hasn't even been born yet. And he's like, he keeps saying, it's our daughter. And I'm like, yeah, you can have her from time to time. So I think it's going to have to take a lot of me to actually say, please step in. Because sometimes I don't even like to ask for help.
Yeah.
I think most women are like that as well.
It's true. It's true. You know, Brian, there's a couple before there's a family. You've got these two people who are in love. And a lot of the time people, when we talk about intimacy, the first thing that people think about is sex, but intimacy means so many other things. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, you know, there's a lovely formula which is goes like this: intimacy equals depth and frequency of communication.
Depth and frequency of communication.
That's right. So it's really about connecting with each other that creates intimacy. And so just to spend time together, to be there, just to support, but it is the quality of communication that will determine the intimacy.
How do you make that time when you've got a small child? What tools could they use to create quality time for each other?
Well, that's very true. I think that what happens is that a man is more connected to the outside world, whilst the mother is often cocooned into her, you know, her special place to protect her child and bond with that child. So it is important that the man is bringing sort of information and reminding his wife that there is a world out there. So it is about possibly, with the help of your support system, at some point saying, look, you know, it's not going to happen immediately. Let's go out and have a date night or something, but let's do things together. So you take your wife out into the...
I love what you're saying though, because also if she's at home with baby for the first couple of weeks and he's going out into the world, that's a really beautiful intention for him to carry into the world, that even though he's not the one at home with baby, he's out there for his family.
Yes,
and he's
yes.
bringing things back for his family.
That's right.
That's a nice way of staying connected as a couple as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's talk about sex, because I mean, after you've given birth, I don't think you really not. It's hard to
Yes,
get
yes.
into it again.
Yes.
What's your advice for couples?
Well, I think that we as men are given the 9 months of watching our wives change and get pregnant to prepare for the idea that we're not going to be as active sexually as we were before for a period of time, because things
Can men
have
really
changed.
handle that?
Well, I think it's a challenge, but we have ways and means.
Are there other forms of physical intimacy? I love that. This is a parenting show, ladies and gentlemen. All right. What about other ways of being able to create physical intimacy without actually having to have full-on sex?
Well, I think that it is about pampering, and the famous foot massage comes to mind.
Yes.
And just really spending time together. If you've got a nice big bubble bath, that wouldn't be a bad thing, but you pampering each other. And I think a man needs to know that he is still special in his wife's life, and that's quite a key thing. So I think the mother, woman, Kim, you really need to be aware that you're going to be so occupied with your wonderful little daughter, but you've also got to have that little time and space to really make your man feel special, because he needs that too. So it goes both ways.
The emphasis seems to really be on time. Is it a matter of like practically diarizing, committing to a half an hour a day, or a date night every week? Or
Well, that's right. I think that's where Quintus's idea of routine is very important.
Yes.
That routine is a tremendous thing for a family, and getting the baby used to a routine is very helpful to that child's sense of security, that baby, and it also helps you to plan and to find time for each other, where you can get that connection, and then it's really the quality of that connection is important.
Time and quality. Thank you so much, Brian, for being on the show and for sharing your expertise as always. Kim and Quintus will be seeing you a bit later in the show. After the break, we get the lowdown on how mom and dad can handle the bedtime routine as a couple. It's How To Day on Great Expectations, and we've got top tips from moms